Yo. What up, lifers? What up, lifers? What up, lifers? It's Dave Life. It's Dave Life. You're watching the After Dark podcast. This is Dave Life, and you're watching the After Dark podcast, episode number 307. This is episode number 307. Does taking space ruin a relationship? Does taking space ruin a relationship? Look, man, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're with us tonight. So I want to say thank you, and I appreciate that. Let's start this off like we always do, you guys, the right way. Heavenly Father, have your way, Lord. I pray that you would speak to your people, Lord. Father, I pray that you would help to enlighten, entertain, and inform the people. Lord, I pray less of me and more of you. I say a special prayer tonight, Lord, for Rain's father. I say a special prayer for Sonia's mother. I say a special prayer for others that needed intercession tonight. Sin healing is by Jesus' stripes that we're healed. So save, Lord, heal, Lord, and take care of your children, Lord. Let it be done according to your will, Lord. We pray for healing. We say that no weapon formed against them shall prosper. And we thank you, Lord God, that by the blood of Jesus and by Jesus' stripes on the cross, we are all healed. Father, forgive us for our sins that we've committed by both commission and omission. Forgive us, charge to our head and not our hearts, Lord. And we give you all the praise, glory, and honor. Help us have a great conversation tonight. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. Yeah, man. It's a prayer for those that need it tonight, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We've been away. Last week, we ran a rerun because had a lot going on with the day job and all that stuff. But tonight, we're going to get into it, man. Does space ruin a relationship? Does space ruin a relationship? If you want to support Dave Life After Dark and Dave Life TV, you can hit us on the Cash App pin below. Cash App pin below is $ Dave Life TV. The Venmo is at Dave Life. You can send tips. You can send production. You can send whatever you want to send. If you specify anything to go to one of the guests, I'll make sure they get it. All right. So look, man, without further ado, let's bring the whole host of characters to the stage. I see a few people in the green room tonight. Man, I guess God had a plan. It's ladies' night tonight. So let's start with everyone that's normally here. Let's bring up my sister from another mister. I'm gonna put her on the spot. She's been away for a couple weeks. I'm glad she's able to make it tonight. So let me bring her on to the stage. Her thoughts are deep as the ocean, but they only drop down like rain. Come on to the stage, my friend, Ocean's Rain. What up, Rain?
What's going on? Hello, lifers. Good evening.
How you been, Rain? What's been up with you?
I'm doing good, hanging in there, doing my prayers, just staying afloat, living the life. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. We're praying for your dad, okay?
Thank you so much.
Praying for his healing. Thank you for joining. We're gonna have a good show tonight. I want you to think about this, all right? Think about the last time you were in a relationship and one of y'all was like, I need space. Think about that. All right, that's the setup. All right, I see another sister from another mister. This is the auntie of the show. We call her auntie because, she just auntie. Everybody say, oh, what's up with auntie? She's video lady, Yvette. Come on to the stage, video lady. I know you're here.
Hello. I missed you, Oceans. And what's up, Dave? Sorry I couldn't make the shows last week, but everything's good. I'm here today.
Hey, I'm glad you can make it. We're going to get you guys in and out tonight. I know we got a lot of East Coasters on tonight. So thank you for joining. Yvette, think about the last time you needed space or the man in your life needed space. Don't think about nothing current unless y'all want to. I want y'all to think about the past, but you can think about something current, but I want y'all to think about the past. All right. So that's the setup. When you take in space, does it help or hurt? All right. Okay. I see three more people in the building. This young lady right here is an attorney. Yvette, do me a favor, go on mute or put in some AirPods because I'm getting a little echo and I'm not sure if that's Yvette or Rain. All right, cool. All right, this lady's an attorney. She has Esquire after her name. Just drop something. She has Esquire after her name. She's been on the show a couple times, and I always appreciate her input. This is my friend, my homegirl through the Olympic trainer Sean. Come on to the stage, Ashley H. What's up, Ashley?
What's up, Dave? Ladies, lifers, everybody. Shout out to Sean.
Shout out to Sean, Olympic trainer, man. I hope he can jump on one day. I told him to get on here one day. He said I got to give him advance notice.
I get that.
I know you're on the East Coast too, but Ashley, I want you to think about if you've ever said I need space, or if a guy ever said, you know what, you stress me, I need some space, to the point of we gonna break up. And I hope that, you figure your life out. And when you ready, you come back to me. You know how they say, if it's meant for you to come back?
I do.
That's the setup. Don't comment, y'all. That's the setup. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. We have somebody new to the show. This young lady, her name is Mona. And she is definitely a friend of the family. She's definitely a sister from another mister. Shout out to everybody back in New Jersey, everybody to be watching. I know y'all watching. You know what, Mona? I'm gonna bring you to the stage, but every time I hear your name, Simona, I think about Ghost and his new girlfriend, Simona. Remember when you on Power? She was like, "Oh, it's Simona." Come on to the stage, Mona.
That's funny. Hey,
what up, Mona?
Hi, y'all. Hey,
how you doing, Miss Mona?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for making it to the show. I appreciate it. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I want you to give all of your insight and knowledge and tell us how you really feel about this. And look, y'all, we're not throwing nobody under the bus. So if y'all talk about exes, just know it's for illustration purposes only. And we're not here to dog nobody out, throw nobody under the bus. But you can tell your truth. You can tell your story. Okay. I'll give y'all an example. I had an ex when I started my show. I had an ex about 3 or 4 years ago. He texted me after a show and was like, "I saw your little janky podcast, Dave." I saw your little janky pod. I was like, "Why is it janky?" Because you're over here talking about us. I said nobody knew I was talking about us. And in fact, I was talking about my personal experience. It wasn't about you at all. She was like, "Well, everybody that know us know." And I said, "Well, I mean, I never said your name, so they can guess. It could be anybody." So that's how we're gonna do it. It's not personal. So share your personal testimonies, but make it about your aspect. All right. And look, y'all, we got the queen in the building. She said she ready. You ready, baby? Come on to the stage. This is my queen, y'all, Destiny. What's up, babe?
Just chilling,
So I noticed you jump on when it's a topic that kind of stirs up something.
No,
You just supporting your man?
I'm just, whenever you need me, I'll be here.
Okay, so we're not taking space or nothing right now. So that, people be thinking, married couples to be about them. This ain't about us.
Right.
I just say y'all so sweet. Y'all making me sick. I got a cavity.
we in this for the long haul.
I heard that.
I got a cavity. Ouch.
I heard that. Well, I appreciate everybody for joining. All right, y'all. So tonight's topic is about these people. Now, it's not really about Nelly and Ashanti per se, or Evelyn Lozada per se, but it is about the situation, right? So I want y'all to know we're not talking about these celebrities, and we're not gaslighting or going off on nobody. We're simply saying, hey, if this happens to you, how do you feel about it? All right. And the concept is taking space. So before I play the clip, let me ask you guys, have any of you ever said, I need space in a relationship?
Yes.
If I needed space, I'm gone.
You went straight to the cut.
All
okay.
right.
That part.
So if you need, so okay, Mona, since you give me a minute, explain that to me, Mona. So you're saying that if you need space, you out.
Right. Because you've already thought about it. You've already thought about, do I want this relationship? Do I want to stay in this relationship? I already know what the issues are, right? and maybe we tried to work on them before and it's still not right. So no space. Let's just, separate.
Okay. So space to you is like it's time to go.
Yeah.
All right. So how about I do this? Define space. I know someone that's thoughtful. Let's go to Ocean's Rain because Ocean be over here thinking. Rain be thinking. Rain. Define space.
And so space is an area in which wandering to a radius can create an overflow and overwhelming thoughts and creations, sometimes that are not true, or perception is killed.
Okay, you gave me the metaphysical and emotional. Give me the real definition. What is the practical definition of, let's call it, taking space? What does that look like?
An area in which is occupied by a person.
Wait, right. Right.
Right. Don't win it, Right. I'm not going to give you what you want.
Right, Yvette.
The facts.
Right. She said, listen, Rain, I'm going to tell y'all something. Rain talking like somebody that's in the middle of space right now. And space is looking at her like, yeah, you better watch what the hell you say. That's space. That's a type of space. So space is, a place, a person, where things can occur. I understand that. Ashley, what's your definition of space or taking space?
Taking space is giving yourself time apart.
Giving yourself time apart. All right, really simple. I like that. Giving yourself time apart. All right, let me ask this, Yvette. Since we got everybody going around round table, Yvette, taking space. Okay, you've heard the metaphysical, the emotional, you've heard the literal. What does it involve in terms of proximity? Does the space have a component of proximity or none?
The way I would describe taking space is me time. I need some me time. I need to reconnect with myself, and find me again. Maybe you've been absorbed with others' space. They consumed so much of you that you're taking back my space, my time. I'm taking me back.
Me back. I like that. I like that. I like that definition. You said it's me time. It's a component of I got to do me. I got to get myself together. All right. Okay, that's kind of where I was going. Baby, what is the definition of space or taking space?
So, I mean, I agree with Yvette in that, like, taking space to me would mean taking a break from the relationship. So, like, breaking off our natural, like, our regular pattern of things, cutting off access to me for a specified period of time, or maybe it's not specified. Like, I just need space. So it's just cutting off access, cutting off contact.
Cutting off access, cutting off contact. I need space. Okay. All right. Do I have a picture? Yeah. Hey, y'all remember this? Y'all remember this couple right here? All right. Who's that, y'all?
That's
Shanti
Nelly.
and Nelly.
Shanti and Nelly. All right. Do y'all notice the difference between those two pics?
Of course. The one
Younger
on
and older.
Older, yeah.
Years apart.
Younger and older. Okay. Now, what's funny is the one on the left is the latest picture, like newer. It doesn't really show how happy they are because when you see them in any pictures nowadays, with Ashanti being pregnant and then just having the baby, she's all smiles, he's all smiles, they're laughing, like, you know what I'm saying. And the one on the right, it's younger and she's happy and he looks like he's serious about something. Not that anything was wrong, but this is the definition of they circled the block. They circled the block. Okay. Can someone tell me about Evelyn Lozada? What do y'all know about Evelyn Lozada?
She definitely has a lot of ties to a lot of different men in different ways. She definitely keeps her children private, out of the spotlight. She definitely is one who stands on her word, but she also is one who is definitely goes after what she wants. But she also has a lot of anger management and sometimes can be selfish.
Okay. Now she was in a relationship with Nelly some years back, right? You guys?
And Ocho Cinco.
Ocho Cinco, I remember that.
And
know
Ocho.
about
Oh God. Yeah, Ocho. All right, but wait a minute. That she and Ocho aren't the ones that are having they just broke off the engagement. Was it him? Was it her?
No, that was
Different lady.
another female.
Mhm.
Okay.
From the
Okay,
Basketball
so we
Housewives,
won't
another Basketball Housewives.
another
Sherelle?
basketball wife. I'm not
Was
sure who it
Evelyn
was.
with the baseball player?
Yes.
I think she did go to baseball player too. She's dated around in the sports industry a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl Crawford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was definitely
All right.
cross hopping.
I wouldn't
Well,
know.
here's a picture of Evelyn. Here's a picture of Evelyn Lozada. Now we're not, like I said, we're not here to bash or nothing like that. All right,
No.
there she go. Boom. That's Evelyn. All right, so Evelyn, the reason we bring this up is because Evelyn and Nelly used to date. Evelyn and Nelly used to date. Y'all, all the lifers that are watching online, shout out to everybody that's watching online, by the way. If you're watching on Instagram, it's a good look, but come on over to YouTube. It's a better look. So if you guys get a chance to come on over to YouTube, come to YouTube and type in Dave Life TV and then go to our After Dark playlist, and then you'll see us. I'll also put this on the front page right now so you guys can see it on the front page. But so Evelyn, you guys used to date Nelly, and I'm adding this to the page as we speak. There it is, adding that to the home page. So when you guys go to the home page, you can now see, does taking space ruin a relationship? All right, that's out there. So we good to go. And shout out to everybody that's watching on the gram. All right. Evelyn and Nelly dated some years ago. And this is going back to Nelly and Ashanti, and you see Evelyn there on the right. All right, so Evelyn Lozada and Evelyn and Nelly. Oh, it brought up the wrong thing. Why did Nelly Lozada break up? Somebody tell me, do y'all remember, ladies? You might remember better than I do. Why did they break up?
I don't even remember them dating. I didn't know she
Me
dated.
neither. I never knew they dated.
Me either.
I don't remember that, but I do want to say one more thing that I know is a fact and positive. Evelyn, she definitely is a person who she is misunderstood a lot, even though she's selfish, but she definitely does come with the truth. She is definitely a facts woman.
Oh, hold on, y'all. Did I grab the wrong ladies?
Are you thinking Sherelle Lozada? I mean, no, it's not Sherelle Lozada. Sherelle Rosado?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Evelyn.
They do
Did
look
I-
alike a little bit.
Did I get the name? Oh Lord, did I get the names messed up?
Ocho
That's what
Cinco
I
has
get.
a good type.
No, I'm looking for Nelly's ex. Who's Nelly's ex?
Oh,
He has
the
a lot of-
lady that, I forgot her name.
Me? No.
Is it Chantel?
That's man. I didn't pulled up Evelyn Lozada. I'm talking about Chantel Jackson. Wow, David.
I'm
Right.
thinking to myself,
Well-
I'm like, when did they date?
I know. When did they date? I'm like, when
Well,
did
my
they date?
bad. My bad.
Like, I
My
missed
bad.
that.
I don't follow celebrities business like that. I'm out here living my life, so I really
Oh
don't.
Lord Jesus! I done put up the wrong picture and everything. Sheesh.
See, that's why I don't be out here talking about these
Annoying.
people. I don't know their business.
We were about to
But-
make a whole new rumor.
Listen, man.
I'm like, I'm learning something today.
New rumor.
From the rumor mill of Dave's
Right.
Life After Dark.
Right,
The
right.
rumor mill.
Oh
Right.
Lord, I didn't pull up the wrong lady, y'all. That's what I get. That's what I get for not following social media like that. Dang, y'all. I really thought that was Evelyn Lozada, y'all. Well, I'm glad we fixed that.
Shout out to the panel for knowing their shit.
Shout out to the shout out to the
Ocean.
Right.
panel for knowing
He
they
was over here giving you all the facts, Dave. She's like, well, wait a minute. What
I
is
know,
going
right?
on?
Yeah, Rain was running it
Talking
down.
about? Now, I
Rain
don't
was running it
remember
down.
that person.
Right.
I'm gonna have to change the graphic, y'all. Dang, man, they even just did something. Okay, cool. So I'm talking about Chantel Jackson. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. What do y'all know about why her and Nelly broke up? Let's go with the people that know.
Rain.
Rain, since you went in.
Nobody else knows.
Like,
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me. I'm Shaggy.
Oh man. Okay. I'll Google it real quick.
I
Yes.
Googled it. According to ChatGPT or whatever AI it is, it says they grew
There she
apart.
Oh,
She does look like
Wait a
Evelyn, huh?
Yes and no. You know what
yeah,
though?
that
When I
picture.
played it, you know what? This explains something, y'all. Because when I was looking at the video that I'm about to play, I said Evelyn gained some weight. I was like, she gained a little bit of weight, and I kept saying to myself, she looked a little different because I guess Dave was the wrong dang on person. All right. It says they broke up. What was the answer, Ashley? Why did they break up?
It says they grew apart as she started to focus on her businesses and brand.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Was that before or after she dated Mayweather?
I
can't
don't
remember.
know. It says they were together for 7 years. So
That's
Wow. Yeah.
significant.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I found it. Okay, so Nelly and Chantel. Let me put Chantel back up here. So Evelyn, don't try to sue us for slander. So Nelly and Chantel dated 7 years. I see this AI overview, Ashley. They split in 2021. She confirmed the split, saying that they're just friends. Let's see. So she's a model, former reality star. She confirmed the breakup on Instagram, responding to a fan's question about their relationship. She said it was a mutual decision and all of that. So they broke up in 2021. Okay, after 7 years. So they dated from 2014 to 2021. All right. So now I think it's time to play the video. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this video, y'all. The video is going to show Miss Jackson explaining now how she feels that she wanted to break up with Nelly to see if they could figure things out and save the relationship. Remember, the topic tonight is does taking space ruin a relationship? So let's look at what she said here about taking space, and then we'll go from there.
Think or have this make believe story. I left because I wanted initially, I guess, space to see maybe will the space bring us back together, or do I need this space because I just need to rip off that band-aid? So, and initially I wanted the space or the break to rip that band-aid off. So but no, like no ill will, nothing bad. Just sometimes people don't work out. People grow apart. Like sometimes one person might want to be still in the situation and the other person is like, this isn't working. It happens, you know? Right. It just didn't work out. And that is all good.
All right. So that's the correct picture now. We got Chantel up there instead of Evelyn. So she basically said she needed space initially, thinking, you know, we can figure this out. Let's take some time to step away. Let him figure some things out. Maybe let her figure some things out, and then they would circle the block. But as we know, Nelly circled the block with Ashanti. When got his love, and they had a baby. So my question to the ladies is, and we're gonna go roundtable style, and let me know who wants to answer first. Does taking space ruin your relationship or help your relationship?
I think it depends on the couple, you know.
You think it depends on the couple?
It depends on what they're trying to accomplish, right? Me personally, like I said, if I need space from the relationship, I've already been mentally and figuring out like, no, this is not going to work, you know. So I'm splitting. I'm not coming back. I'm out. But it depends on the couple. If they say, listen, can we take this? You know, it depends on the couple, I think.
So
Yeah.
you're only taking space when it's the end of it.
Well, to me, this is my personal opinion. If you have to take space from one another, there's a reason why. And I'm pretty sure your relationship to me, it feels like it's sort of rocky, right? So now you're saying you need some space. So that's why to me, I'm like, I'm out. I'm out.
Okay. I see you, Yvette.
Okay. It does depend on the couple. It depends on your relationship, the type of relationship you have. I'm going to say it also depends on even work, job, what's going on in your life, because different things happen. I know a couple that's close to me in my family. Him and his girl had to take some time away just so they can appreciate each other. And I say that because relationships sometimes can go stale when you're constantly doing the day in and day out of just trying to get up in the morning, get to work, run here, run there. If there's kids involved, kids here, you know, so, and then you start taking each other for granted. And sometimes it's like, you know what? Let me step away so you can see how much I actually do. And the other person, like, yeah, let you go ahead, you step away because you need to see how much I do, not realizing you both got to come together and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like the oil that perfectly oiled wheel don't roll unless it get oiled, and it has to get oiled with the both of you. You remove one, it's gonna stop. The wheel's gonna stop turning. So sometimes you have to step away for a reset, reappreciate. Sometimes you might be feeling some way about just yourself, like you're feeling like you've lost yourself within the relationship. So you're like, babe, I need a moment. I need a week. And you know what I'm saying? I need 2 weeks. I need a month for a reset. And then, like you said, sometimes the one be like, okay, well, while you was gone, I realized I don't need you. I don't even want you. And then you're out. Or it's, you know what, let's not do that again. Whatever we go through, let's not really talk about it. But sometimes that is the problem. Sometimes the problem is that you didn't know how to talk to each other because of your day-to-day was getting in the way. So, you know what I'm saying? By the end of the day, sometimes you're just so stressed with your world and what's happening, you can't even hear your partner, what they're saying, because you're really trying to just deal or detox from your life, your work stress, or your situation stress. So, you know, it just depends.
So that's another way to look at it. So Mona said, like, if you need space in her scenario, like, why are we doing this? Like, I'm kind of done. Like, that's almost like that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Oh, you need space? Then let me give you all the space you need. And then the other one is, no, you said, Yvette, another scenario could be that we need space to help replenish and refresh what we have. I heard you say that. Like, the day-to-day is weighing us down and we got to refresh. You also said that maybe a person has to find themselves, right? And to discover, because of the day-to-day, because they too busy with the kids or the bills or whatever stress is going on. Okay. Ashley, I saw you speak up a little earlier. Welcome to the stage, Sherrod. Welcome to the stage, bro.
What up?
What up, man?
I'm sorry I'm late, man.
No, you good, brother.
it's
You good?
Ramadan. I started watching this stuff on religion, and I totally forgot about it. And all these attorneys we got on the line, I just want to say I have already signed my NDA. So let's not have this foolishness tonight. Ocean Rain was good with your vet. Miss Leslie was good with your Ash, the Mash, and who is this young lady? Mona.
This is Mona. Mona is one of our friends from Jersey.
Mona Lisa. Can I get a half for today? That's great stuff. Get it?
Sherrod,
Jersey, Mona Lisa.
I get it. I
Wyclef.
get it. I get it. I get it.
remember
she
her
was
from the
singing.
wedding? Remember her from
That's
the wedding,
right.
Sherrod?
That's right.
Oh, you was at the wedding, Mona?
So
Mhm.
Mona's
I was
one of
in
the
the
bridesmaids. She's one of the
I was one of
bridesmaids.
the bridesmaids.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Oh
Wait a
shit!
minute. Are you
You
cousin
were
Mona?
one of the bridesmaids.
Mhm.
Because your face, Mona, was
Damn.
me and you at the table together?
No.
You not sitting at the table, doing cocktail hour,
Oh, it
And
might have
you-
been.
and your husband is a twin or one of the brothers? No.
Thank you for saying that, but not married yet. But
No.
yes.
Yes.
That's right, Mona.
No.
That's what me and
Speaking
Mona was
into
hanging.
existence.
I know
Speaking
you was
into
looking
existence.
familiar, but I wasn't sure.
Hey,
Right.
Mona Vessa, I'm gonna make you know me. I'm gonna make you
Right.
know me.
Right.
You know me.
No, because everybody was so cool. That's all.
Everybody was cool. Everybody was cool.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
I
Now
like
y'all got me
people.
looking at wedding pictures.
I like good people.
I see you with your
Me
I see you
too.
with your wedding Elliot Ness holster on though.
Oh,
Dave.
you see me? You see me?
I was
You see
thinking
me?
the same thing, Sherrod. I was thinking
Don't
the
think.
same
Hey,
thing.
look, I got a mind. Listen, I got a mind like an elephant.
I
Okay.
know
Yeah.
it's like the hostess on the top of you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
So-
Des, you didn't know this, but at the wedding, he was bebopping around in the back. I can't do. I'm gonna do what he was doing. I'm gonna do what he was doing. Hold on a second, 'cause y'all know I got. I'm gonna do what he
Oh,
was
let
doing
me-
in the back. He's like,
I
this how he was doing in the back. If y'all want one of these, if y'all want one of these, just y'all want one of these, just come on. I can tell you where to get.
hey, can I be honest? Y'all know where I ordered this from?
Etsy.
No. You know what, babe? Is
I
that
think you
yeah?
did, you
Because
know.
I got
You
some
did.
stuff from Etsy. Okay, so I went on Etsy, but it came from the Ukraine.
Mhm.
Came from the
They
Ukraine.
sent us this
Good
shit.
for you.
It
Good
had
for
all
you.
sizes. It needed your breastplate size, the underneath your cup size, your back, your lat
li-
size. I
Bruh,
said, I ain't got
bruh.
time for all that.
They were like, and I was like, so I had to estimate some of it, and then they were like, send us pictures. So I had to like disrobe. I had to literally just show the height from my belly button to. I was like, damn, y'all. So then basically it works, but it's a little bit longer than it needs to be. So the next time I order it, I'll go get measured at a tailor and all that stuff. Hey, somebody's watching. Shout out to Blue. Stop scratching me. Y'all,
He hears
I
my
wish y'all could
voice.
see him.
He hears Auntie
I wish
Mona.
I wish y'all could see him because he scratched me and then he started licking his paw when I scolded him.
Well, you got to remember, man, a cat is one of the most lethal things in the world. You can get sick and die from a scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you didn't know that. That wasn't on the prenup.
No. No.
Prenup is
We were
crazy.
talking about prenup.
That's the way you're
Right
gonna be
now,
taken out.
Dad,
You're gonna be taken out by the cat scratch.
See
All
what
right.
you
So
did.
that was like
Panama-
page 16 of the prenup.
Mm.
Panama Princess is watching. She says she's listening. We got a new follower, Star Sean. What up, brother? Or I can't. That's a bro, right? I think that's a bro. Look like a bro. If it's not a bro and it's a lady, I apologize. Shout out to Star Sean for watching. Yeah, you can ask questions. Just throw the questions in the comments and we'll get to them. But we're covering the topic of the show. All right, Sherrod, I don't know if you saw the clip. I started the show off talking about Nelly and Chantel Jackson. They broke up in 2021 and they reportedly split. I guess it was mutual, saying that we're just friends. But she eventually confessed that she broke up with him initially, saying we need to kind of figure things out and hopefully we'll come back around. and maybe the space will help us. That was the original thought process. Rain, I'm gonna put you on mute. All right. That was the original thought process. Now let's watch the clip, you guys. I know we already played it, but I want Sherrod to see it. Sherrod, listen to this clip of her saying that once she took the space and now that he's with Ashanti, this is her reaction.
Think or have this make-believe story. I left because I wanted initially, I guess, space to see maybe will the space bring us back together, or do I need this space because I just need to rip off that Band-Aid. So, and initially I wanted the space or the break to rip that Band-Aid off. So but no, like no ill will, nothing bad. Just sometimes people don't work out. People grow apart. Like sometimes one person might want to be still in the situation and the other person is like, this isn't working. It happens, you know? Right, it just didn't work out.
All right.
And that is all good.
All right. So she said it just didn't work out. Ashley, you were gonna say something before we brought Sherrod in. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, so does space ruin a relationship? I think it can, but I don't think like if two people take space and it ultimately doesn't work out, one person goes to spend the block somewhere else. I don't think it's the space that made that happen. I think it was the people or the relationship or whatever issues that made that happen. In other words, like someone mentioned, you probably were having issues before, or there was some reason that made you take the space, right, in the first place. And so it could be those same issues that drive you apart. On the other hand, the space could help and could get you to see that, you're where you need to be is with that person. I think it's about how it's communicated. What each party is intending to do. Like, are you working on yourself? Are you figuring out what you want, or, whatever the case may be. But I think it's important how it's communicated. Both people are on the same page, right? And so I think there's things that can set it up to be successful. But if it's not, again, I don't think it was the space. I think it was the people or their issues.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So it was already something going on, you're saying. So if it does end, the space isn't what caused the problem. That's what you're saying, Ashley.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone else? Did you give your discussion on your reaction to the video?
No.
Okay. Give me a reaction to Chantel Jackson saying she thought the space was gonna help, and then it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what she just said as well. Honestly, what I wanted to say is I believe that giving space, it does depend on the relationship, but giving space also is also a time where reservations and boundaries have been broken. It's like a timeout. It's like a punishment in a way. It's a restriction. And it's also time to regroup, reset. Sometimes resetting could be what's best and can help the relationship. And other relationships, it depends on the people, that regrouping doesn't do that, because if you've already went through these processes as a relationship communicating, you've tabled this, you've parking lot that, now you're spacing, that means you're wanting to be away from, you're disconnecting. So space is a disconnection when there's two people involved. So ultimately, if you're needing space, there's time for someone to depart. And as she said, people grow apart. And her spinning the block, I think, and she also did it in she has some decorum there. She definitely was. She said people grow apart. there's no ill will. And I think that that was very mature of her to say that. But she did say one thing, that it was no ill will, but you can tell in her way that maybe if there was a chance for them to spin the block, she never did give it confirmation that it ever was ending between them.
Yeah. I picked up on some, I don't want to read into everything, but I did pick up on some stuff in what she was saying. Let me see, baby, did you go yet?
No.
What's your reaction to that video and her take on she thought the space was going to help, but then it didn't?
I mean, I think either way she got her answer, right? So if you took space with the intention of, kind of figuring some things out for yourself or it helping the relationship, and then the first thing he does is go and get into another relationship, I think either way she got her answer. So
Okay.
I don't feel like
So,
she lost anything.
okay. So it worked in terms of it gave clarity. It may not have been the
Yeah.
answer she wanted or did want, but she got an answer for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
because if they took space with the intention of, okay, let's work on ourselves, let's see if, I don't know, she didn't specify exactly what the reasons were, but if they took space with the intention of working on themselves to see, if the relationship is something they really want to go forward with, and the first thing he does is get in a relationship with another woman, then I think she got her answer.
Yeah. Yvette, did you get a chance to react to the video?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah,
who's
I
oh
did.
just Sherrod then. Sherrod, does taking space help or hurt a relationship?
So I first of all, I want to give a shout out to Ocean's Rain for using the word decorums. That was great. That was a vocabulary word for that for you tonight. Um, I
Man, it
wrote
keeps switching back. Hold up. Let me keep switching back to Destiny.
I wrote
I
that
don't know
shit down.
why.
I was like, man, this is great right here. Um, I'll tell you what they told us in the military. When I first got in the military, the first thing they say is, make sure your house is in order before you deploy. Because if your house ain't in order before you deploy, it ain't gonna be in order when you get back. So that's another way of saying, in my opinion, based on me knowing soldiers and leading people before, if you are, and it goes back to this whole space thing, if your stuff is not in order, if it's not dressed right, dressed before you leave, it's going to be in turmoil when you get back. It doesn't make it better, because in order to fix problems, you have to be present. You have to be omnipresent in the moment, fixing that problem with those individuals. And you're right. I will agree with Ash. Sometimes in certain relationships, space does help relationships. It's never helped me specifically. I'm not the type of person when if we part ways, if we separate, if we say, hey, we need space, it's out of sight, out of mind. I'm moving on. Her problem is she's very upset. She's mad as shit. She's just trying to be
Mhm.
cool about it because she don't want to fuck up the next day. That's all that's about. She don't want to seem like the disgruntled ex-girlfriend. So what the problem
Mhm.
is, they might be a little envious of her because he did get in a relationship with Ashanti so quick, and they always look like they're happy. Every
Yeah.
time you look
Hey,
at her, laughing and smiling,
they
and now she pregnant. She was
right.
pregnant.
She done had the
Oh,
baby.
you like this?
Right. So they look like happy. And a lot of times I think men have a tendency, not all, they have rebound relationships just as equally, if not more than women.
There they go.
And I think they're looking for something like women do. I think women discern better and more than men. And I think it ain't like what Teddy always says. It ain't like it ain't trying to find a fat ass and a beautiful smile. Sometimes it's just peace. And when men get to a certain level and they want a certain thing from a woman, they're looking for that specifically, right? They're looking for
Mm.
that peace. But I don't think the space makes it better. I think the space just, because in that space is when other people find a way to get in, whether it be male
Mm.
or female. So when there is space, the devil is lurking and he is finding a way to get into that space, into that void. So you have to constantly keep that void shut. And when you don't keep it shut, You're liable for anything to walk in. Another woman, another woman's other woman, other woman. You know what I'm saying? Or a man's friend or somebody can come into that space. And it seems like that's what you need, but it's superficial, right? It's superficial.
Yeah. I find it very apropos that you said the devil tries to get into spaces, because that's exactly what another Negro would try to do. You know what I'm saying? If something go wrong, he trying to get right up in your space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that ain't, you know what I'm saying? And women got to be aware of that. Women got to be aware of that every man that is a shoulder to cry on ain't just because he's a benefactor and he's an amazing person. Sometimes he's trying to get in between your spaces.
I just want to make a statement though, again, because you know me, I'm always like, why we always got to be on the negative side of it. Sometimes it is what it really just is. I just need to take some space. It don't always have to be a negative connotation on it here. It can just be, you know, I need some time to rethink, to restructure, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And not everybody want what you have all the time.
Okay.
Like you may want that person. Everybody don't want that person all the time. It's just you want that person. So that's just me being a devil's advocate right now.
I understand you devil's advocate. I understand. So I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. Okay.
Okay.
Some people do want your person, and check it out. It might not even be about they want you or your person. They just don't want to see you happy.
Correct.
So I'm talking about the people that do come in and try to create a wedge in a good situation, right? Some of them people just don't want you happy. I'll give you guys an example. Someone said it, and I think Sherrod, I might be getting a little feedback. So can you mute Sherrod? Okay, and then Mona, you can, whenever you're ready, you can let me know and I'll unmute you because I'm still hearing a little feedback. All right, so check it out, y'all. One part of this that we did not talk about was, and I think someone mentioned it. Someone did mention this. It can be there's a malicious component to some people that want space. Some people want space and they're Blue, get down. Get down. He just gonna get down, Blue. Come on. Thank you. All right, at least he listened. Some people want space, you guys, because it's a malicious intent. In other words, they're like, I'm gonna make him act right. So I'm gonna pull away. I'm gonna make her act right. So I'm gonna withhold or create space or back up. I'll give you an example. In my life, ex-wife, I found out years after the divorce, she was like, well, you were just too strong, David. I didn't know how else to hurt you other than to use the foster kids against you, or to file for a divorce. And I thought that maybe if I did that, you would, things would be different. And I was just like, wait a minute. So you telling me that was a tactic, and that don't work out for somebody like me. You're not going to pull a gun on me and then I'm going to act right. And then I'm going to, not a literal gun. She didn't pull a literal gun, but you're not going to force me into something or out of something. And then I'm going to act right and say, oh, you know what? You forced me. I yield, uncle. That's not me. You force me. I'm going to be like, let me help you. Let me help you. You know what I'm saying? So, some people, when they try to create space and try to make the other person act right, who said it was punishment? Was it you, Ashley? Somebody said it was punishment, or okay, that was Rain. So when you try to have a punishment aspect to the taking space, and it's not genuinely to work on yourself, like you were saying, Yvette, and it's like, I'm here to hurt. That stuff could backfire because you could lose the very person that you're trying to get to change their behavior, or you're trying to get something to adjust. You could lose them by being like, yo, if you like you need to, that ain't gonna work. Because some people be like, I bet you want to do all that, I'm going. Because there is someone else out there, like Shirai said, the enemy is quick to bring somebody, be like, you know what? Oh, it's okay. You could talk to me or whatever. And then, now you thinking about stuff because they're speaking to your pain. Thoughts on that?
Yeah.
The malicious side could backfire.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too, because it could be like what Ashley was saying, and I love what Ashley said. I also love what Sharad said. And listening, it could be a moment where, Sharad, we need space, and this space could be a fork in the road. Where do I want to marry this person, or do I want to just end this relationship? And you have to figure that out on your own for a moment, without that person just showing you, like Yvette said, the positive of the love. Because here it is it killing the relationship, or is it going to make us stronger? So it could be a situation where you're deciding, this is who I want. This, we've already went through this process. So taking some me time, resetting, regrouping me, to analyze and get my temperature check me. And while you're checking yourself at the same time, make sure that you're also supporting the need of the relationship. Baby, I'm letting you know this is my time just to communicate and get some understanding of what I'm needing to do, what's going to be best for us in the long run.
Exactly.
Does
Exactly.
taking space ruin a relationship? Something you said that's important, Rain, if I could react right quick, is me taking space, like checking me checking myself. Like, okay, you know what? I don't know how I feel about everything that's going on. Let me take some time and let me just check on myself from a improvement standpoint. But also, maybe I need to regroup and check myself because I've been wilding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you got to focus on, what can I do? What have I done to contribute? What the hell is happening, around here? Because, like you said, Rain, if it's coming down to space is taken because you got a big decision to make, like a job offer, like a marriage, like a divorce, like a breakup, like all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you got those major decisions, sometimes you do need to take a minute and say, all right, I gotta just think about this outside of the influence of the other person, right? Because sometimes the influence could be, oh, the sex is great, and man, it's hard to think, or it could be, man, we so toxic, I just need a minute because we just can't seem to get it together.
No.
Go ahead. Yeah, the floor is open, y'all. We
Or
talking.
it's even just you. I mean, sometimes you need to take that space to see, because here's one, because this is definitely something I've actually had to deal with. When you're in the building stage of your life, like if
Mhm.
you're an entrepreneur or whatever, you're trying to get a business established or something like that, sometimes you got to take a break from all relationships, friends, whatever, to stay focused on the prize.
Mhm.
Because if I'm here with you with the struggle, I may never get to that prize. We may never get to that prize. So sometimes you got to let go of some of that heavy load that's pulling you
Mm.
backwards because you can't focus. So that's why I always say it's not all, these are great topics and conversations because there's so many sides to them. Automatically we always just go straight to a relationship, and it always seems to be one in doom and gloom or one with trouble. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it can just be, look, in order for us to get the business going, I can't be home with you 24/7 because I'm
Mm.
focusing on, we need the house, we need the business run. I'm building our generational wealth right now. I can't build it with you crying and wanting to go get Gucci, Poochie, and Uchi, and it ain't gonna do nothing for us. It's depreciating as soon as you walk out the store.
So
You
so I
understand?
so I
What is
so vet
what is
vet I
Gucci,
completely I
Poochie, and
completely
Uchi?
agree with you. I can
Is Gucci, Poochie, and Uchi people, places, or things? I just want to
It,
know.
it, you, it can be whatever you want it to be. It could
Because
be that
Gucci,
bag.
Gucci sound like
Gucci
you
is
have to
the
get that
bag for
bag.
the clothes.
Poochie is the homie, and Uchi sound like that. Ooh wee, that
Uchi Wally. Uchi
All of
Wally.
that.
right. That Uchi wally wally,
Wally
Uchi
Wally.
dang dang.
All of that. But sometimes that takes your focus away.
Yeah,
So
So
the
vet
Uchi definitely can. Go ahead,
vet
Rod.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. When Gino Dave, my brother, when he was going through nurse necessary school. So basically that's an anesthesiologist, but he's a nurse. when he was going through it, he cut off everybody for 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like cold turkey. We popped up at his house. We made him fail a test. He almost got kicked out of nurse.
Jesus, see, friends
Yeah.
like y'all.
Yeah. We're
Come
the
on, let's go
corporate.
have a drink. You know,
Yeah.
you don't need those friends doing those
We're not
things.
going to have a drink, sir. We're trying to take the rag off the bush. Yeah, that's what we're doing. It's been 3 years, nigga. Come on. So, I agree with you, Vet, but this is the key. If you realize that there's something you are dead set on and you're focused and you are so laser focused and that's your calling and you know that, and the person that you with cannot discern that and understand that, that ain't the person for you.
Amen. I agree. 100%. I agree 100%.
You need to cut the sling load immediate. Now watch this, Vet, to your point. Sometimes it takes months, days, hours, years to realize that yourself. And when you do realize that, it is incumbent on you to cut the sling load and keep it moving. But understanding, like, hey, it's not working because I have a different perspective on where we need to be than you do. I mean, you got to have a grown-up conversation. And I think you got to, and you do have to communicate that. And by communicating that, I had a cousin, man, he used to always say this. He said, hey, man, she didn't get called to the ministry. I did. So if she left me, is that going to stop my plight? No, it's not. It's not supposed to. A lot of people make concessions to be with you because that's your plight. So that lets you know they believe in you. But if they stop believing in you when it's initially, man, that road gonna be a lot tougher. It's gonna be a lot harder. So cut the sling low early and often. If they don't buy in from the initial onset, because seeing is believing, and they see the goal, but they can't conceptualize it and they can't follow you. Fuck them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I'm only speaking from experience too, because, you know, when I was trying to get Cheer Video Productions up and running, that was my moneymaker. I mean, that was making stupid dollars. And at the time I was in a relationship, but it was going to the end of the world. It was like dying already. But I'm like, hey, look, I'm trying to keep all the money in-house. So if I'm employing you to do this part and I'm delegating you to do that part, you know, everybody will get paid and eat at the end of the day. The person didn't have the vision. And because that person didn't have the vision, his MO was, let me tear her down. Let me try to not let you, you know, do this. All I did was just get you thrown out much faster because I don't even play. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, yes.
Were you intimate with this person?
This was my boyfriend at the time. But he knew what I was doing. It was like he was there at the start. He was there, and every step of the way, it was like always perfect example. My first office. I got my little office, a little small office, you know, and it's 3:00 in the afternoon. So mind you, I got the house, you know, anyway. So all these things are already in play. It's 3:00 in the afternoon, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why are you in my office? Why are you not at work? His answer was, I quit my job. I'm going to work for you. I was like, blankly blank, grow. You know, because I don't use the word Negro.
Right. So he just made an executive decision. I'm going to work for you. You never offered this.
Yeah, Negro. Like, what are you saying?
Right.
I have the house and the overhead of a home and now an office. Like, what are you saying right now? That's a lot to carry, and 2 boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you need to go to work and bring home some paper because my paper is going to these things first. And that's a lot of problem. That's a problem too, because a lot of people think when you say you have a business, that means right away they think
you're rich. You're rich. You got it.
But wait a minute,
no,
Vet.
you
Vet,
gotta work.
Vet, what made him feel comfortable enough for him to quit his goddamn job and say that?
I don't even know because I didn't. I sure didn't. I don't know where that.
I know what made him comfortable. It was that Uchi and the Coochie and the Poochie. It was the
well,
Uchi,
he thought he was gonna get Uchi, Coochie, and Poochie here, but that just got you like kicked out.
Shit,
Clothes
I,
on the front door, clothes,
goddamn-
everything on the
Did
front.
he?
Porch.
this goddamn Uchi Wally so good. I can't even work. I got
he
I
said,
gotta
damn
live
work.
in this motherfucker.
Listen, hey, Shirai, it was so good. It was like sunshine. He was like, you know what? He said, hey, baby, put your mom on the phone. Hey, baby, it's me. I ain't never coming home. Fuck it. I'm gonna be with Yvette. See, Yvette, it's your fault. It's your fault. You should have gave him access to your space. That's
Right. I blame it on you, bet.
I hope he thought he could have exponentially increased your revenue, like 10x, maybe would be an appropriate number.
And I've said that.
right. Right.
Otherwise, not okay.
No, okay.
I wanted to put a different spin slightly on this. So, I mean, we've all heard right person, not the right time, you know, or anything like that. So I think, I mean, we've all talked about if you need to take time to work on yourself or things like that. But I mean, there are situations where you're not happy in the relationship, or, you know, that it's not giving you what you need at that moment. And so you take space, right? I think space is a breakup though, right? Like you are breaking up, but it doesn't preclude things from changing down the line at some point. You know, like time is evolving, people are changing, maybe working on themselves. And then I think things could be different in the future, making the space valuable. Now, did you need the space? I mean, sometimes, yes. Sometimes people need to lose something to see, oh man, okay, I really did want to change something or do something differently. Or maybe I didn't, because that's not my person.
Wait, I got a question though. I got a question. Yes, you may need space to figure out your life and what you're doing, but do you need space to figure out if this is the one?
No, you don't. You don't. Just a woman don't need a space in another night to know if she gonna fuck that dude or not anymore. She don't need no space. She know it. She know it. Vet, stop. You know the minute you run into a guy and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna give him some Uchi Wally, or I ain't gonna give him no Uchi Wally. Now it depends on how much space and time he put between you just making that decision. Is up to him. Cause see, men have a tendency to fuck it up. It's already presented on the platter. Men have a tendency to either say something wrong, treat you something, because one little inkling of something disrespectful can mess it all up. But she's already made a decision. She didn't need no space for that. Men typically need a little bit more time because women marry off of potential. Men marry for all the wrong reasons.
I can add something to that. You know,
but wait, well, hold on. I want to say something. Oh, I'm getting feedback. Oh, I gotta mute somebody. Okay. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Rain. Something happened. It must have been your sound. I want to ask this before we continue from Sharad's point. Men don't need. Okay, men control the marriage and the relationship gate. You know, women want relationships usually. Women want marriage, and men are the ones that have to say, "Hey, you know, will you marry me?" Women control the sex gate typically because men want coochie, and women be like, "Hey, hold on now, slow down, cowboy." Right? So when he said women know if they want to provide coochie, that's true because that they own that gate. That's on them. Men know if they want to provide marriage and relationship. That's on them. You can't make a man marry you.
Okay.
So therefore, men have the power in that dynamic when it comes to that sort of thing. Now, unless he's just like, you know, some men are just totally slapping in foolish love and the women don't want him and she has all the power because he's kind of simping. We're not talking about that. We're talking about in a normal relationship. Now, look, y'all, in the event a man says, I need to break up to figure out if this is what I want and you're the one. No, stop the press. It's over, ladies. It's over. Once he started doing that, he's telling you the truth that you ain't the one. And he was just trying to figure out if he could fit a square peg into a round hole and make you be the one. And now he's starting to realize, dang, I don't know if I could really deal with this. I don't know if I can really make it happen. That's what he's trying to do when he says, I need some space. Because I'm going to tell you, you don't have to force a man to marry the one that's the one. When he finds his unicorn, wild horses won't stop him. When you got to slow him down. You don't have to speed him up. So if you got a man that's saying, you know what, I need a break. I got to figure this out. I don't know if I want this. I'm trying to figure out if this is. It's a wrap.
He's not playing games either. He's basically telling you the truth. And guess what? Most times when he's telling you that truth, a man has already, and men of certain ages already know. Like me and Dave are a certain age. We already know what we want, what we don't want. A man has already thought about that at least 5 to 10, 20 times before he uttered it. So he's probably already said, damn, I don't really want to tell her this. But if I don't tell her, we're going to have a space, and that space ain't going to be good. So he says he needs the space.
You got a call come in.
And a lot of times, that is the hardest. Yeah, it's good. That is the hardest thing in the world for a woman to tell a man he ain't the one, and vice versa, for a number of reasons, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing. We might just don't groove and may not be equally yoked with each other, and that's okay. That's okay. The problem is we lie to ourselves and we lie to others about it. Just be honest. How many times, Vet, have you told me? Not me. I'm sorry. How many times have you told a guy, like, hey, I like you, you're cool, you're this guy for me? How many all of you women have asked a guy and told a guy that? So you've never.
I'm sorry, Vet.
It was me.
There you go.
Me. I've been single for a very long time, and part of that is because I have been very, very selective.
That's good.
There are certain things that I have to see. I don't want to hear. I need to see from a person before you step this way, because it has to be already embedded in you. I don't want to tell you all the things that I want, because then you're going to try to become what I need you to be with me. So I want to see if these things are already embedded in you before you come this way. And then while we're dating, or if we figured out, or if I see there's something that I'm not feeling for me, because I know where I want to be, and I know what I want right now in this lifetime. So I'm quick to say, you know what, boo? You're not the one. We're not the two. I don't think it's going to happen. I have no problem with telling you that.
I agree. I think the two things can collide, right? And are closely related, right? Because what you want in life necessarily dictates the partner that you have.
Correct.
You are needing to decide. This is a very simplistic, example, but you want to figure out where you want to live, or what kind of lifestyle you want to have, or do you want to stay at home wife? Like, if you do, like, you're not for me. You know what I mean? So you are making it a choice then on the lifestyle that you want, but that now says that you are not a fit for me.
Correct.
With me.
Correct.
So when I say that, you're taking time to figure out, like, if this person is the right partner, it doesn't mean doesn't necessarily have to mean, are you into them enough or anything like that? Some of those, kind of more malicious intent reasons that some people may give. If you do it the right way, it can be taking time to figure out what you want, and does that person align with that vision?
All right, so I'm gonna throw this out here, and let's hear from Mona. Let's hear from Des, because y'all been kind of quiet, and Rain. So it sounds like some space is good because it gives you time to figure out if this person is the one. It also sounds like if a person says, if they're indicating they can't really get with you, they don't value your goals, like if you're studying, or if you're working hard to build a business, or if you're finishing up education or something like that, or you're a missionary, you go overseas or you're traveling. So, if they're not with it, maybe that space is like, you know what, let me take space because I'm not sure if I could deal with that. And it may show you that that's not the one. I have a question for the ladies that were kind of quiet. Shouldn't we be figuring out if this person is compatible and if they're the one before we have to get into a relationship and go down the road for 2.5, 3, 4 years and figure out this thing? Shouldn't we vet and figure out what's happening with us and what we want out of life and out of relationship before we get involved, so we don't have to take that space and mess up somebody's heart and life because we didn't carry them on a journey that we wasn't sure we wanted them to be on in the first place? Like, should we take time to do that up front, ladies? Somebody respond to that.
True. I agree with you, Dave. You should vet them in the beginning, but when you're in a relationship, you're getting to know that person, right? Over time, and you may set a time limit, like 6 months is my time to know this person and know if he's the right person for me. But you have to, like Yvette said, I don't want to hear him say these things. I want to see, I want to see him do these things, right? So I think if I'm a missionary or whatever, or if I'm going back to school and I need his support, and I wasn't like that in the beginning and it's like that now, maybe it's not working because maybe we weren't meant to be together in the beginning. You know what I mean? It wasn't, I don't know. It seems like it takes time to get to know a person, to get to vet them, to get to see if this is the right person for you. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
It takes time. And sometimes you gotta be with them and see if y'all are compatible in that
different
relationship.
seasons, as people said. Like my grandma used to say, you need to see people in different seasons and how they react in those different seasons.
Okay. All right. Rain.
I like what Mona said, as far as looking at them in different seasons, but I definitely do agree that I like what you said too, Dave. If I'm with someone already, we've already vetted before we get to the point where we need space. So what I've seen from this panel, lifers, we have negative space, we have a positive space. We have a space that we need to just probably regroup ourselves to make it better, or just to make things generally better. It's not a negative or a positive. But if you're doing that, and if it's one of those things, your partner and you should know what is happening. Communication here is lost. So I also wanted to bring something up, but I know that we were taking a break where Sherrod and Ashley said something, which I think is great. Right before two people get married, they don't see each other for 24 hours. They have space. And the origination of that, the origin of that space, is for them to make sure that this is what they really want to do in that time, the last day, that they see this person for the rest of their life, allegedly. So that space is given to them for them not to see each other for 24 hours to make that last decision. So there's space there as well.
All right. Go on mute for me. I had a little bit of feedback. Rain. All right, there you go. Everybody else can come off mute. I think it was just for some reason Rain's mic is interfering. Rain, you bring up a great point about the 24 hours, right? There's a tradition that you're not supposed to see each other 24 hours before the wedding. Some people will go so far as a few days before the wedding, right? Y'all know me and Destiny just got married, right? Just got married. No. Yo, Sherrod, without getting into the gross details, man, first of all, Negro, shut up. I already see you laughing at me, you bastard. Excuse my language, y'all. Why are you laughing at me, man? I'm having a serious... I already know where you going. See, this is why you can't... Niggas ain't your friends. They laughing at you when you having moments. Dirtbag. You messing it up already, dirtbag. So listen, y'all. Listen. All right, listen. So before man, I'm gonna speak personally. Before I got married, you always have that moment, y'all, where you take time and you think. Now it's not like let me put myself on the screen so y'all can see me. It's not like you're saying I don't know if I want to do this. No, it wasn't that for me. Now some men go through that. It wasn't that for me. For me, it was the weight of I'm about to make a covenant before God that I'm going to take care of this person till death do us part, in sickness and in health, and vice versa. And it's like you just don't enter into that kind of decision lightly. And the other thing is, what a lot of people don't realize is that when the two become one, you die to yourself, she dies to herself, and y'all become a new thing. It's literally like a death when you go through holy matrimony and you know, like down in Christ, up a new creature. It's like that. So you feel the heaviness and the weight of that. At least I did. Um, and you know, Shiraz saw me. I was going through. I was stressed, and it was a particular moment where we had a memorial table for our loved ones that passed on. And so I thought about my dad. You know, I thought about my grandmother, my grandfather. I thought about all the people where I was like, man, I really would love for them to be here. And you know, whatever I was preparing, I can't remember if it was the programs, whatever I was doing, Sherrod, when we had to go to Kinko's and run some errands, and it was the pictures. When I'm running errands trying to get those pictures done, it took longer than expected. And because it took longer than expected, we had to get back and be dressed and all these things. And I was extremely stressed. And Sherrod could tell, and he was just like, oh, I'm gonna leave this man alone because you know, he going through it. He was like, Sherrod was trying to expedite and project manage and be like, come on, Dave. But I was like, I know. Leave me alone. I know. And so I'm stressed. We finally get the pictures done. Everything's printed out. Everything looks right. I got Destiny's loved ones that passed on. I got my loved ones that passed on. We got in the car. And just the fact that it was over and I accomplished that. And now I can place them on the memorial table and feel like they're watching us. I lost it. I broke down. I lost my marbles. I was just snot nose done. I was messed up. And I was like, Sherrod, thank you for being patient with me because I knew I was being a jerk. I knew I was being extra tense. I knew. And once he saw, okay, my man's trying to do something that's super important to him. I don't know fully why, but he's under a lot. I'm gonna leave him alone. When we got in the car and I said, thank you for being patient. I had to bring my loved ones with me. I felt like if I left them and didn't bring them pictures, I was letting everybody down that was expecting to see, you know, the memorial pictures. And half of us probably didn't even notice. But I just felt better that I told my wife I was going to do that, and I did that. And I told myself I was going to do that, and I told my mom, and you know, my father's sister, you know, she was there. So lost it, got in the car, you know what I'm saying? And that was one of those moments where I just knew I had to do it. And when you are entering into matrimony, at least for me, it's very clear that this is big and it's major. And I know that I know that I know. You don't want to be walking to that altar saying, I'm not sure if this is it. You know, Shirai, you want to give your take on that moment or?
Yeah, no, it was a deep moment. I was not laughing at that moment. I was laughing at the other moment when you didn't want to see
when
that.
I snapped.
He's like, I don't want to see her. I don't nigga, you not gonna see her. Just stand still. I don't want to look upon her. I was like, oh man, shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody about to let you see your wife. Just relax. That's the part. I was like,
yeah, because y'all blindfolded me and I was walking. You were like, trust me. You're like, trust me.
Napkin. We got a dinner napkin with one part of it in his glasses and the other. Because he tried not to see her. And I'm like, the only thing you got to do, Negro, is stand still. She definitely ain't trying to see you. She looks fabulous. But you're not. He's doing this, though. I don't want to see her.
Oh no, wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see her. That was a serious moment. And back to we stayed at we found a FedEx Kinko's and we literally stayed there 3 hours before the wedding.
Yeah, it's like 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah, it was
and it was just me and him. But I realized because part of me was like, I didn't turn into the best man because I could get the Negro back to the chapel. I didn't. It was serious. And once I realized in Kinko's it was serious, and he was going to harass everyone in Kinko's until it was perfect. I got my phone and I sat down because that's the space that he needed. When we got in the car, we had another bonding moment when he did break down, and it was things that I said to him that came from the heart, and I understood, and we left it there, and we moved on.
Yeah.
That was the end of it.
But that was definitely the definition of armor bearing, because
Yeah.
you had my back in a moment. Because let me tell you, if you were arguing with me in that moment, it would have threw me off. I would have felt, like, dang, man, I'm trying to. I was already tense. You remember Hank messing with some settings on my phone, and I was mad.
Yeah.
I was like, what did you do, Hank?
And I think back to the point, I think that's what we have to do as men and as women for each other. When we see our friend in some moment, we have to give them that space. We have to give them that, that we might not understand, right? And it might come out later and we might be able to talk about it in the dialogue and recap. But as far as right then and there, I think we have to be humble enough and ask God to work through us to be, because I'm telling you, I was about to cuss him out. I'm telling you, I was ready to go because I knew there were so many other things on the timeline and milestones we had to hit. And we're getting close to game time. And I'm like, yo, everybody gonna cuss me out because they're like, what the hell y'all been at for the last 3 hours?
Right.
But we gotta allow each other in that space. And I think that may be a little bit different than what we're talking about in relationships.
But it's still space though. It's that
But
moment.
It's
that
a different
space
space.
right before the wedding.
Yeah.
So and someone help me out here. We were also talking about Destiny. I think it was coming to you, baby. Knowing that this is the one. Sometimes you need to take a little space. Someone said maybe you need to go figure out if this is the one. I was like, a man don't need to do that. A man should know. And if he's pussyfooting, then maybe you ain't the one. Because you don't want to marry someone that isn't the one because you were too afraid to say, I'm unsure. It's better to say, I'm unsure, or I don't think this is it, or I just need a minute to gather my thoughts because this don't feel right or something. It's better to do that because I've been in a situation before, babe, where I told you this. If I married someone just because I was with them for X amount of time, I would have married the wrong person. Because time is not the reason to marry. Just because you've been with them 3-4 years, don't mean they the one. And sometimes that sucks to come to that revelation and say, damn, we've been together 4 years and this ain't it. Because that's what I went through, babe. And so before you go, Sherrod, Destiny, what do you think about the idea that vetting someone before it's time or having the courage to say, let's pump the brakes is another form of taking that space?
So I mean, it takes time to get to know someone. I would argue that it doesn't take 7 years to know whether or not you want to marry someone, but it definitely takes time for you to get to know them. And I think that if you are taking space, it's usually because there's something that you're unsure about in the relationship. So I think sometimes too, like people put parameters around like what kind of space they're taking. Like, is this a break from the relationship and you're free to do whatever? Or if this is just a space for us to kind of figure out some things for ourselves and figure out if we want to go forward with the relationship. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think taking space is an indicator that something isn't going right in a relationship. Otherwise, you would just continue on.
It would roll smooth. Shout out to Christine. Panama Princess said Destiny's hair is pretty. The braids are braiding.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Braids are
Thank
braiding.
you so much.
Guys, I did learn a concept some years back, and it was you can take space within the space. You can take space within the space. That concept is something I went through where it was like, okay, you're in a relationship. Y'all are mad. You ain't happy. Whatever misunderstanding. But it's like, you know what? I need a breather. So I'm gonna go downstairs and watch TV, or I'm gonna turn on the latest comedy. Or you know what? I'm gonna lay down and you stay up. Come to bed when you're ready. Or hey, sometimes somebody, I don't recommend this, but if you're mad, some people might sleep on the couch when they're mad. I don't recommend it. But at least that's taking space within the confines of the house. Some people will take space and will go outside the house. I'm going to the hookah bar. I'm mad. I'm going to the sports bar. I'm going to my homegirl crib or my homeboy crib. I'm going to the strip club. I'm going to work. Some people will actually take distance as space. And I've heard this from somebody asked me, where's Dr. Zenos? He's traveling tonight, y'all. Dr. Zenos told me this. He said, "Hey Dave," because I was married once before. He was like, "Hey man, if you want to be there, don't move." He's like, "Don't move and don't start being out." He said, because the minute you move or the minute you guys separate and say, I'm over here and you're over there, like not in the same crib. I'm sleeping at my homie crib. I'm on the couch. She's sleeping at her homegirl's crib, or we split and get our own apartments, or I'm going to take this job somewhere else and I'll see you every couple of months in anger. Not in planning, but in anger. Dr. Zenos told me, he said, this is like 20 years ago. He said, Dave, once people get outside the house, it's hard to come back. Because now you get used to being independent, paying your own bills, not having to answer to nobody. They ain't worried about your toothbrush. They ain't worried about your dirty socks. There's enough food in there just for you. You start, you have that line of, hey man, F y'all, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good over here. And what happens is it's hard. I see you, Yvette. It's hard to then agree to come back and say, okay, we're going to intertwine, and we're going to come back together after you've been out there. Not even saying that you had sex. You just ain't got to worry about them. But God forbid you separate and you do get involved with somebody else. Now you got all that mixture going on and all the stuff they're saying and doing that the other person never said and did, but you don't know if they're doing it because they want you or because they just, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Yvette. I see you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was trying to think of the lady on Abbott Elementary. There's actually some couples too that also live in two separate homes because in order for them to exist as a healthy couple, they have to be in their own space, and they come together, and they just did a whole little thing on it here on ABC. It was, one couple lived literally in the same neighborhood, but in two separate houses down the street from each other to give space.
I've seen that.
What's his name?
Uncle Zenny like that, Dave.
Who is?
Uncle Zenny, my uncle like that in that.
Oh,
way.
it is?
So
it works for them too. It works.
That's what I'm saying. Certain things work for certain people. So that's why I think a lot of times we come on here and we think of what we think general people, and I think sometimes that can be difficult to do where we all think that we all should be the same, have the same type of relationship. I think we have to be careful when we put that out there, that everything has to be the traditional, what we think tradition is, because what may be traditional for me may not be traditional for you. You know, so that's why it says it depends on the couple. It depends on the couple's lifestyle and mindset and what their belief mechanism is. I mean, most of our conversations are we have a belief in a God. There's some people that don't believe in a God, but they're spiritual. There's some that believe in differently. So their beliefs are just different. So we have to respect.
And I don't want to come off like we're not.
Yeah. That's why I
don't want to come off like we're not. No, I agree. And I want to say this, listen, I think I saw this on Instagram. Somebody said, it was a comment somebody said. As a matter of fact, you guys, I'm glad you brought that up, Yvette, because I put a poll out. And I want to see the results of this poll. I'll try to pull it up on the screen in a moment. But okay, so not that many responses, but the question was, does breaking up to take space help or hurt most relationships? Does breaking up to take space help or hurt most relationships? The answers were yes, breaking up can help. No, breaking up can hurt. Space dooms a relationship, or space saves a relationship. And out of all of the answers, 57% said space dooms a relationship. Space dooms a relationship, like it's the kiss of death. Okay. Rain, come back when your Wi-Fi recoups. All right, Rain said her Wi-Fi is tripping.
Destiny, did you have your hand up? Did you want to say something? No, I thought I seen you saying something.
Did I miss somebody? Ashley, Mona? Yeah.
I wanted to go back to what you said, Dave, when you were like, taking space may go down. You may go to the den, or you may go to the other bedroom. I wanted to bring that up because I know we're talking about boyfriend girlfriend kind of relationships, and I was going to point out, what about when you're in a marriage and you're going through stuff? Like you said, you may have to go into the other room just to create that little space, so you could come back to that argument or whatever disagreement to both be level-headed and speaking. You can't leave, you cannot leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, Mona. Only thing open at 2 a.m. What they say is open at 2 a.m. Legs and something else.
7-Eleven.
Jail cells.
Legs and jail cells. All right.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
7-Eleven.
so you get it. Look, I am. You should not let the sun go down on your anger, right? And
That's biblical.
that is biblical. And to Yvette's point, it does depend on the couple, Mona. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree with I'm mad at you, I'm gone, and I'm spending the night somewhere. Like, that's a recipe for disaster. Don't do that.
Yeah. I agree.
But if it's standard hours and it's like, you know what, I need a breather, and you go to your favorite, because I smoke hookah, you go to your favorite hookah bar, or you go to your favorite restaurant, or you go to the library, or you go down to the rec room in your apartment complex, right? Especially if they have an idea of where you are, because me and Destiny, we share locations, right? And some people don't. But if it's reasonable that you just need a moment, I'm not gonna say you have to be in the same exact room or house, because some people, it gets so volatile. Not here. I ain't talking about us, so don't nobody read into this. But some relationships, man, people gotta they really gotta diffuse, Mona. They gotta say, hey man, let me just go and go to the
So that goes back to my
restaurant.
point. There's something deeper inside. There's something fundamentally wrong with that individual, man or woman.
Or relationship. Something wrong with that relationship.
Because what's happened is this: there's been some insecurities that they fostered their way into the relationship. Either side, there's some trust and anger issues that probably have fostered their way into the relationship. And it probably even didn't even start with you. It probably started with something in the past that they never ironed out. So what has happened now is permeated through the whole relationship. And they get so angry and they get so disgruntled with you, and they get so defensive, you can't even talk to them. So what do? They run. That's why the FBI are great at finding people. The number one thing when a person runs, they go back to a familiar place. So guess what that person does that's hurt, can't talk, can't communicate? They run back to a familiar place. And that is usually in the arms of an ex-lover, or it's usually in someone that makes them feel special, like a parent. So what do? They leave the place that they're at, the edifice where they're at, and they run back to mom. They run back to dad. You seen that emoji with the stick people? And the girl was like, hey, dad, he about to put the tires on my car and everything. You think that's right? That sound right to you? And the dad was like, why don't you? He right there with you. You're married. Yeah, it's right. Hey, dad, I'm just calling you again. He got this kind of bread. You think that's good for us? I don't know. I'm asking you because you're my dad. Like, you got to cut their biblical cord. You got to somehow or another leave that shit alone. And a lot of people don't do that shit.
Leaving and cleaving is super important for both parties, not just the man leaving and cleaving, but the woman too, because you don't want to always run back to mama when stuff goes wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Your mama not married to her, you are, and your mama not married to him, you are. You know what I'm saying? So the two of you got to figure it out. So some people, but now going back to healthy, because Christine asked a good question. All right, she said, is fighting fair really a thing in marriage? And the answer is absolutely. You better fight fair, because if you love that person, you don't want to go below the belt with your words. You don't want to go below the belt with your, actions. You don't want to do that, because this person has opened their heart to you and they're vulnerable. And if you betray that and stab them figuratively in the heart by, saying something below the belt or pulling out their darkest secret at the wrong moment, or airing them out in public, or embarrassing them, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You betray them somehow. So not everyone can forgive and recover. Sometimes that stuff can create a serious fissure and a serious wedge. So fighting fair is important. I see you, Yvette. And then the other thing is, you know, sometimes Mona, it's okay to go talk to a friend that's actually has your best interest at heart. You got to know when you're married who has your best interest at heart, because not everyone has your best interest at heart. I'll give you guys an example from past marriage. Co-worker at work, husband and wife team went to our church. Okay, me and my ex was going through it. So you know, if I saw them at marriage ministry, we would chit chat. But the wife worked at the job with me. You know, so we going through it, and I used to chit chat and mention to the wife, yeah, you know, man, it's rough. You know, we going through it. Y'all pray for us. You know, tell your husband this, tell your husband that, and they would give us advice. And it was a little bit of, you know, friendly conversation, and it wasn't no attraction. It wasn't like that at all. But here's what I messed up. I began to talk negatively about my ex, who was my spouse at the time. I began to talk negatively about her to the coworker, which was also the wife, which was also church friends, right? So when the divorce happened and she filed and all that stuff, what did that lady do? She took every single email, everything I said, and provided it right to the ex. And I was like, yep, this is what David has said about you in his moments. And I learned something, like, you can't do that. When you're frustrated, when you're upset, you definitely can't be talking to the opposite sex, I don't care who they are, about your spouse. Now, if I'm a man and I got a brother, then I need to make sure that brother I can really talk to and say, hey man, if I'm just getting something off my chest, I don't need you to bring this back. Like this stays right here, right? That's an armor bearer. If you're a sister and if you're a woman and you got a sister that you can really, really talk to, that's gonna say, hey girl, I love you. I'm praying for you. You can vent. And I'm not gonna talk negatively about your man, even if you're venting, right? And I'm not saying that everyone can do this, but you got to be careful who you run to, Sherrod, like you were saying, right? Sometimes you run back home to your mom be like, I never liked that being in the first place.
Of course. That's why you
Mom,
keep everybody out of your business.
you might talk to the wrong homie and he's scheming or
Been
whatever,
scheming.
or he hating or been scheming. And like I said, it's dangerous when you start talking to the opposite sex, because you don't know if that person is, jealous. They may be like, you know what, y'all, well, you know what, David, blah blah blah, and they could be so in discord. So you gotta be careful who you talk to, but it's okay if you need a moment. Just choose your moments in marriage and choose who your wise counsel and confidants are. You got to choose wisely, because you can't tell everybody. Because Mona, here's the worst thing. Mona, me and you are married, right? And I come to the church. I say, you know what, man, Mona, full of it. Mona, I go off, and someone is listening and all that stuff, and they say, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep it together. It's in confidence. And then that person starts to sow discord. That person starts to say, David said this about you, Mona. I don't know. I'm not my husband. I don't know. And then and now you and me reconcile, and then that person looking at me sideways, like, yeah, that David, I don't know about him. Loose lips sink ships. I don't like how he talked about my friend. That's my friend. That was my friend before I met him. I don't know why he talking about, and now I'm never forgiven in the eyes of that person. And what if that person is in ministry? What if that person is a leader? What if that person is a gossip? So sometimes you can't share with everybody what's going on, because not everyone can handle it. Yvette was gonna say something, right? Sorry, Yvette.
Yeah, it kind of went past me now, but it was basically what.
My bad.
No, because I'm getting really tired. But I was just thinking about listening to you speak, and I lost the thought. I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead with the show. I lost my.
It happens to me too. I get it. It happens to me
Well,
too.
I'm tired right now. I might have to just pass out. 'cause
Yeah,
I have
we
to go.
coming up on the end of the show anyway. Hey, it's a round table, man. So what else did we miss about taking space? The benefits or the negatives? Did we
Came
miss
back.
anything? Oh, okay, come on.
It came back. It was about venting with with a person, and also not saying certain things to each other, because sometimes you really need to know your person, because sometimes we date somebody and some people like that loud, ghetto fabulous person because that turns them on. But you cannot tell your inner deepest thoughts, because when you fight,
Damn, it turns them on. Jesus,
there's some people that like, like
I
women.
lost it.
There are
It
some
turns
people
you
like
on.
There are
Jesus,
some people that are attracted to
It is.
ghetto, and just like there's some women attracted to the thug. So
Yeah.
when that
Yep.
thug goes inside your head, you can't be crying about it because you knew what you were getting to. So therefore, you have to be careful with what you say, because that's that person. Like mostly women don't fight fair. You know what I'm saying? Men are stronger than we are. So if it came out to a physical thing, or the man that walks away because he's not going to put his hand on you, that woman is trying to hurt you when she's scorned or really just angry. That woman's going to try to hurt you the best way she can. And a lot of times it's with her words, and it's usually with something that you lack, and knowing it's going to be that trigger for you. So it
Mhm.
is, you definitely have to know who you with. You have to know if you got that loving woman that will never take that tongue and turn it into a sword, and vice versa.
But when women do that and men snap, because they see it's not fair. Because like
No,
women can blame it on so many things, like, oh, you know what? It's the week before my period. Oh, my period is on. Oh, it just left. So that's 3 weeks of you beating me up verbally, and you expect for me not to say nothing back to you. What the fuck are we
Damn.
doing?
Not 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's
That's
3
right.
weeks.
That's right,
It's 3
Sherrod. That's
weeks.
right. That's
Not
right.
at all. So you can't be the pot calling the kettle black and expect for
Mona
the pot
said
not to
that's
throw
right.
it back at you.
Hold on.
slap
Mona
her
been
with a
quiet.
pad. Just
Mona
slap her
been
with a pad.
quiet.
Embrace all
Mona
that.
been quiet for an hour and 40 minutes. And Mona said, she's that's right. That's right, Sherrod. That's right.
No,
I need my 3 weeks. That's right.
no,
That's
that
right.
is not fair and it is
Or
not equitable.
take
No.
a pad and say, "Shut up." No, I'm just joking.
That's
Yeesh. You know what? You know what's funny though? Great point. I want you to land your plane. But women, we know not to play with a woman about certain things, right? And sometimes women know not to play with a man about certain things. Like I don't know. Not every man is gonna be physical. So I'm not talking about domestic violence.
Penis
But I'm
size. Penis size.
That's what I'm
Please say
saying.
it.
I would
Women
never
will go
ever
there
do
in a
that to a
heartbeat.
guy.
That's why you got a small dick.
Right.
Why would you say that?
And it's like
You know-
when you are in a relationship, you know the person the most intimately. So you definitely
So-
know what.
So you knew it was
But-
small. You knew it was small, but you loved him. But then after you got
Exactly.
pissed off at him, now it's just really small.
Ashley,
No.
you ain't shit. You ain't shit, Ashley.
Yo, listen, this
Now
is
you
why
need
you
some
should.
You have
trees to
called
hold
somebody
it
a
up.
small dick Negro before, haven't you?
Oh my God.
I see it.
talking about
You know Sam got a small dick.
that's funny.
I was
That's
talking
just-
generally.
That's just cruel. I need
Hey,
some
hold
rings
on.
to that. I need
Oh,
tweezers to hold it.
Wait a minute. I can't even find the button. I'm looking for the button. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
You know she has.
Yeah, you was laughing too hard. Ashley, you was laughing too hard.
She does.
I'm calling anybody out for nothing.
I'm
No.
gonna tell you. We already said this. We listen and we don't judge. We're not
Right.
gonna
That's right.
say names. We're not gonna say names. But
He has a small dick anyway.
you know what else is the the thief of joy? They say, Sherrod, the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
The worst thing a woman can do is compare her man to a prior lover when she's mad.
Yeah.
That's why Marcus was bigger than you, or Marcus. Good Lord,
But
don't do that, because
that's
we
what-
can't recover. We can't
But
recover.
men don't do that. That's not really in our nature to be. That's petty.
Some do.
Some
No,
do.
that's not the
Some
right guy
do.
for you.
Yeah, some men with them. My last woman, she knew when to shut up, or she knew how to take care of me, or she cooked better than me.
Jesus. She wouldn't
Oh, you
shut up.
crazy
Damn.
just like she was or something.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I tell my friends, some of my close friends, not to bring up their ex-wives and girlfriends. Leave that shit in the past. Then they ain't got to worry about making a
Exactly.
comparison. Because nobody don't want to
Yeah.
hear what the fuck you did for last Christmas. What you getting me
Yeah.
this Christmas? They don't
Exactly.
care about that shit.
That's
Yeah.
I'm just saying some of my close friends.
I was like,
That's
you
true.
okay, Sherrod?
That's,
You
that's,
get it a little
that's
bit.
true.
Look
You
at
gotta
that.
Listen.
hear what
That's
you
why
did.
Sam had a small penis.
Mona.
Or this one. I've heard this story forever.
Damn. Oh Lord.
I wonder how he found out. How did he know?
Real quick. I had somebody, a female, tell me. I had a female tell me, I'll never date a man with a small dick, David. And I said, oh, why is that? I did that before. and he still did this, that, and the third. So after it was over, she remembered every time she endured sex that she wasn't happy with,
and that's why you don't
that's
talk
why you
about
don't do
that,
it.
right? And that's why you don't
Right.
talk about that.
Women do that. Women do
Yeah.
Y'all can't help it.
before, and I'll never do it again.
You did it, but
No.
Ashley,
She was
you,
laughing. That's what she was
Ashley,
laughing for.
Ashley, wait. You told, hold on, without saying names, because Ashley,
Sam.
are you saying that you were long suffering with a man that was penally challenged, or are you saying you talk mess about that man after the fact to your homegirls?
Both.
Oh no, I have never told a man that was the issue. I've never told anyone that.
Okay, but you definitely thought it was the issue. You
No,
thought
ain't no
about it. You
thought.
was
She
like,
knew it was the issue. She alluded to it.
No.
Jesus. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, you know what's funny? Let me say this about men, right? And women. Here's what's funny. Nobody wants to listen. Women don't like that you're experienced. I remember. Let me shut up.
Yeah, because see, I tell my friends not to be bringing up all that old shit. Like friends I got in my
Right.
circle.
I know.
all
I'm
that-
clear.
Yeah,
I'm clearly not one of your friends, or I don't listen.
Evidently not, because you
But
don't
for
want to shut the fuck up.
No, it's this.
Right.
It's alliterative for the show, you guys. It's for the show.
Well, there's other ways to express yourself other than talking about some old shit.
But
Well, I'll tell you this.
There's also this thing too. Usually they say that women, a guy with a small one, likes to go downstairs and eat a meal because that's all they got to offer. So they'll eat you
Jesus
up till
Christ.
kingdom come. Till kingdom come, till she come, and
But guess what though? But look where. Okay, so this is the key though.
They call it a munch. That nigga a munch.
But watch this, vet. This is.
Oh, you thought you was feeling me?
This goes back to communication and how much you're willing to be with that person and not have a space or a void because of that. That person knows that that's all they're able to do because they are lacking in a certain area, right? Maybe they don't get on hard like they used to. They don't get an erection. There's problems for that physically, or they know that they don't satisfy you. You've made it pretty obvious with gestures, words, facial expressions, whatever.
Come on.
Yeah, because when he pulled it out and you did like this, or he pulled it out and you didn't go like this. You know what I'm saying? No matter whatever gesture you did, that's where you got to come and communicate. Because that right there, between that shit and finances, that will build a void that a sea can run through.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the size. What is it? It's not the size. It's the motion.
Motion in the ocean. That's what
I don't know, Ashley. You tell me, because you didn't tell Sam his dick wasn't even there.
That's not true.
Leave Sam alone.
Oh, speak on it, please, Mona. Hey, Mona, welcome to After Dark. Mona, speak on it. That ain't true. Mona said, damn that ocean.
Yeah.
You're
right, that's not true. Or who said the ocean or whatever? That's not true. That's not.
It's not true, Mona.
What's not true?
it's the ocean in motion.
It's
Did
not
you
the
say that?
size of the boat, it's the motion of the
Yeah.
ocean.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Well, Mona, you know what they say? They say you gotta
need a
have the
yacht.
equipment. You gotta have the equipment for the shipment.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all. I'm not gonna
So
elaborate that.
listen, Mona had a flashback. Listen, so when I was talking about the lady that was like, I'll never date somebody with a small, that was Mona. Mona told me that. No, I'm kidding.
Lord have mercy.
Listen,
But guess
we
what,
got
though?
church members that's gonna see this show. I'm
I
just
know,
kidding,
right?
y'all. I'm
Leave
just
us
kidding, y'all.
alone.
I'm just kidding, y'all. Listen,
Hey, but guess what,
hold
though,
on.
Mona?
Hold on. I gotta say something. Pastor Ern is after dark. Mona did not.
Lord
This is David. Y'all put it on me, but this is after dark. We are having fun and all that. So it's in love. It's an adult show.
Pastor done had some too, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sorry, he done had some too.
I'm not trying to have that image. not the pastor.
They're human
No.
too. They're human too.
They are human, but let them do that over there. Let
So
them do that
I'm
over there.
sure.
Oh, hold on. Somebody said earlier, Sherrod, I got you, bro. Somebody said earlier, that's a long time. Ain't nobody waiting 7 years. You know, Jacob waited 21 years to be with Rachel.
I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jacob.
Yeah, but that's
Try
but
that in
that was
2025. Try
that
that in 2025.
yeah, that was some New Testament shit. I mean, they weren't doing that in the Old Testament.
Sherrod said, Dave, that's when they was living 999 years. That wasn't nothing. 21 years wasn't nothing back then.
They had
Sherrod.
they
Sarah,
were
Sarah,
just to
Sarah
walk to
came back.
Jerusalem.
Sarah was like,
Yes.
surprise. Sarah was like, a surprise, I'm pregnant. That nigga was like, nigga, when? When you
Right.
out?
Right.
Babe,
Right.
Were
Yes,
we
baby.
even talking about how Jacob didn't even negotiate? He just threw it out.
He didn't negotiate. He just went for it. Listen, Laban, his uncle Laban was like, hey, dog, you gotta work 7 years. He said, I bet
Right.
7. He did the 7. Then he gave him Leah, tricked him. He said 7 more years. He said, dang man, I ain't even want her. 7 more years. Okay. Then he got her. Then it was another 7 years. You still got it. You owe me 7 more on the yard. Dag. But see, he did that because, and we talk about this, babe, when you love somebody, see, it says Rachel he loved. See, that's what it says in the word. That joker loved Rachel.
So
Like
he
Rachel was
willing
the
to
one.
wait.
Come
Yeah.
on. She
And
was
that's
the
why-
one.
That's
She was the
why-
one,
Rachel
Sherrod.
had a nasty attitude, and he
Yeah,
still
the
loved
nasty
her.
attitude.
If you split
Yes.
it right down the middle,
And God closed up her womb. She
He sure did.
she didn't have children. So check this out. Leah, the one was mad fertile. You know what I mean? But now Leah, he gave Leah to Jacob because he's like, I can't give you my youngest first. My firstborn's gotta get married first. But the problem was Laban tricked him. If he
Right.
just told him straight up, hey, listen, it's our custom. The oldest woman has to be married first. They could have negotiated and talked about some stuff. He tricked them. So that was foul
But
on Laban's
Jacob
part.
deserved that though, because what he did to his brother Esau.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And so it was a
I
lot. It
can't
was
feel
a
sorry
lot.
for
It was a
Jacob.
lot
Yeah.
going on there.
so
There's a lot going on there.
you're saying that someone
Christine
in the
made me
grand
spit out.
scheme of things,
Christine,
someone
right? Look at that. Christine gonna make me spit on my drink. She said, "Did he ever smash Rachel?"
Yeah,
Yes,
of
he
course.
married her, Christine.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
it wasn't no
but what you're
smashing. That was his
saying
wife.
He
He had
didn't
to
smash
he had
until
to-
after he said I do though. So no, he
Right,
didn't
that
do
was his
that.
wife.
Right.
So it's like
Go
he
ahead,
said,
Sherrod.
"After all
That-
those years, let's
Did he
decide
say-
that he wasn't no good." I'm like,
Did he ever
can't
smash
fix
Rachel?
that.
So
Can I
let me
get a
ask you
refund?
this.
I'm gonna
So
get
it
to
was
heaven
the-
and I'm gonna be like, "Did you ever smash Rachel?" Jesus Christ.
Like, duh.
So are you
yes.
saying that it was divine intervention that put space in his life?
Man, I'm gonna slap you. You know what? Revelation.
Face.
You didn't got deep now, sir. I wasn't ready for that.
saying. Well, that's the whole point.
Come on, man.
Like sometimes you can't. It's not up to you, right? That ain't the path. That ain't the path you're supposed to be on. So
Come on.
sometimes God puts you in there. He puts that in there to learn. So what did you learn from that space? Whether you walked away or you stayed in that space, what did you learn for the next
Man,
place
he
you're
about to
supposed to be?
boy.
You see
Come
what I'm
on,
saying, though?
Sherrod. Come on,
So that's why I
Sherrod.
say That's why I say that's some New Testament shit. They weren't doing that in the Old Testament.
Come on, man. Come
Talk
on.
that talk. What you
I'm
saying?
Come on.
serious.
Because
Think
let
about
me
it.
tell you something. Because real talk, Sherrod,
Yeah.
took me 16 years to find my destiny.
You see what I'm saying though?
16 years.
So that's why when you hear the song Lessons, like it took me all of those lessons and those spaces to get to you. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We'll
So
talk.
when Eric Roberson talked about lessons, that's a testimony. So I like a lot of times, like Mona, you said earlier, like I think you said it shouldn't take 6 months.
7 years.
Right, 7
Right.
years. It took that nigga 21
I know.
because it was somebody else had a different path for him.
Mhm.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it had he couldn't stop that motion. Like that was divine intervention for him to go through that 71 years because there was something bigger that he did after he married Rachel.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, listen, from Benjamin being born, absolutely, man. So you know what's funny, Sherrod? If you had told Jacob, "Hey, bro, you're gonna get everything you want, but it's gonna take you 7 years. You're gonna have 12 children. You're gonna be the father of a nation. You're gonna help extend Abraham's promise." Like if you told him all that, he might have been like, "I'm not signing up for all of this. That's a bit much."
You know
So
why he wouldn't have signed up for it? Because that's why when you start talking about I love you where there's no space and there's no time, that means I love you day in and day out. The average person is not willing to be humble enough to submit to the will of God. And that is why we have so many problems. And that's why men specifically choose the wrong person, because we're not following the will of God.
or we're not patient.
And we're not patient.
Yes, Yvette, I want to add one thing to Mona. You know, it wasn't Mona. Someone was saying about you got to figure out if it's the one. Man, I think, man, in God's divine plan, it would be great if we all took space to be with Him.
Correct.
And then figure out who we are, and then let Him bring someone to us, and then we can figure out if that's the one. Because the difference between me and Destiny, Mona, and me and everyone, this is why I call her my Destiny. I'm not gonna get emotional up in here. It took me so long to figure out who was the right one, y'all.
But it also took you time to figure out who you were, though.
I agree. I agree. But what I'm saying is, but it took me 16 years and stubbing my toe and making mistakes. Yvette,
but you did the work. It don't matter how long it takes.
Thank God. Amen. But what I'm saying is, what about to all those people that's currently doing the work or currently not doing the work, Yvette? They just out here existing. They walking around the wilderness in a circle, and they haven't found the one or been found of the one because of for whatever reason, right? So I wanted to make the point that, use myself as an example. I go through a divorce 16 years ago. What if I didn't date nobody for 16 years? What if I really just focused on God and worked on myself and never dated? Would it have taken 16 years?
You're speculating.
We don't know. I know.
You're speculating.
I don't know because you could. It's going to come when it's going to come within the time it needs to come in. You know what I'm saying? You can't predict that. It's going to happen when it was supposed to. You can't determine when it was going to happen. You know, sure. You, like I said, you did your work. You put your flares out there, and a certain amber came down. There was a few ambers that came down, but the one that was for you landed in your hand.
And her name was Destiny.
There you go. So that was your destiny, and y'all were destined to be together. So there you go. But I wanted to say about space again. I was trying to think of this earlier. Donnell Jones song, Where I Want to Be. Think of the words of that song.
I left my baby.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Okay.
I got you there.
Yeah.
That song says a lot because sometimes a man, and I think a man be trying to tell you, you know what? I think you're a good woman. You're a good person. I'm messed up right now. And a lot of times women don't want to hear that. And a man too, a person is trying to tell you, I am so bad for you. And nobody want to hear it because you want what you want. But that person is saying, So when you say that wrap around, Ashante and
Nelly.
Nelly may not have been in the right position or the right mind space for each other at the time. If they would have tried to be together then, it probably, they never would have even seen their way back to each other, because
Correct.
they could have
Correct.
messed themselves up. So
Correct.
that's where space needed to be for them both
Correct.
to grow into the
Correct.
people that they needed to become one. A
Correct.
lot of people don't think about that sometimes. So
Yeah.
always when you say goodbye does not always mean permanently. I've known so many people who left, but because the love was the love that was the love, and that was supposed to be the person, they circled back around later when they both have grown. They both done the homework to see what went wrong, what roles they both played, and what happened the first time around. So to not make, they either may not have been mature at that time. One may have been too jealous at the time. And like I said, one may have been, especially men. A lot of time men will have them a good woman, but as we go around saying they're supposed to provide and protect, if their finances is not in position, they're going to sabotage this relationship on purpose, because they don't feel like they're ready for that woman. They don't have the money to put you where they believe you need to be with them. So they'll do that and then circle back around later. They'll have some flings. They'll have some, you know what I'm saying? So they'll do that.
I've heard this statement. The right person at the wrong time. The right person at the wrong time is the wrong person altogether.
Correct.
The right person at the wrong time is the wrong person altogether. Timing is huge. And timing, as y'all said earlier with Jacob, it's not necessarily a hours and minutes and seconds thing. Timing could be a spiritual thing. Where are you emotionally? Where are you mentally? Where are you spiritually? Where are you in your development in life? Are you at the stage in life where you can handle Rachel when she shows up, or Rachel shows up and you kind of fumble it because you're just not ready for Rachel? It could be that. It could be that.
When you know, man. When you know, like how many times, Dave, like I told a friend of mine one time, I said, man, I don't even see women like that. I don't even see them type women. They don't even, and it's not saying that I'm better than them, but I'm better than what they're projecting. I don't want that in my life. And I think again, it goes back to having discernment. Like we don't practice it enough because we get caught up in the vanity of what we seek, right? I'm telling you, man.
Or what we want, right?
What we want at that moment. And a lot of times we're not thinking strategically, long-term, objectively. We're just looking, we're getting caught up in process. Man, she look good right now. And when you start talking to him, you start realizing, like, we ain't got shit in common, but she bad though. But we ain't got nothing in common at all. And sometimes that takes you longer than you're willing to put in the work to figure that out. But when you put in the work and you've been with her, it sometimes you're right, man. It just comes out as like we ain't meant to be. This ain't it, and it's okay, It
is okay.
Hey Mona, I want to ask a question. Right, Sherrod and I have been talking about guys being prepared or not prepared for marriage. What does a woman go through? And maybe this question is for Destiny also, because I think about your testimony, babe. About what your prayer before we ever met. But Mona, what does it take? What does it take for a woman that's waiting or looking, or like a man? We said he got to come to the end of himself. He got to figure out who he is and who he's not. He's got to make sure he's ready. How does a woman know she's ready? How does a woman know she's ready?
Wow, that's a good question. How does a woman know she's ready? Or
how does a woman get ready?
Well, like we said before, we got to get to know each other. And for me, getting to know myself is my relationship with God, right? I have to know whose I am before I know who I am, So, and I think it's a lot of maturity too. When you're young, you may want this type of guy. And, when you get older, you realize that, you know, that type of guy wasn't for me. I want this type of guy. But it's to me, it's knowing whose you are, and that's in God, and 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 wanting to spend your life with somebody, to grow with somebody, to build something with someone, you know. But to me, it's listen to God and knowing His voice when He tells you.
Yeah. Babe, what did you do to prepare? Like, you know, I went through my process through the divorce and the 16 years of looking for you and trying to figure out who I am. And Sherrod has seen me go through my process of cutting back on doing crazy stuff, getting closer to God, stopping just being in situationships and just having fun, getting more intentional and serious about being ready for a wife. What was it like on your side when it's like, okay, I'm ready for the one?
I think, well, just to start off, I think women are just more naturally inclined towards relationships than men are. When I was younger, my primary focus was school. Like, I was engaged before to another guy, and I ended up having to break that engagement because I knew I couldn't marry him in good faith. So I think, like, when a woman just kind of gets tired of the whole like rigmarole of like dating and like just all of like the nonsense is when you kind of really just get still and just pray and ask God for the things that you want and be willing to be patient for the things that I want. So for me, I was engaged previously. I went through a hard time, and breaking off that engagement, that was a hard thing for me to do. Not because I wanted to marry him, but because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. Right. So that's why that was difficult for me. But I knew that it was necessary. So in doing that, when I broke off that engagement, because I didn't want to have to go through that again, I prayed and I asked the Lord for the next man to come into my life to be the man that he intended for me to marry. So I prayed on that. And when I prayed on it, I left it there. And I was like, in the meantime, I'm going to be the best daughter I can be. I'm going to be the best friend I could be. I'm going to be the best lawyer I can be. And I'm going to be the best believer Christian that I could be. So I focused on those things in the meantime. Because I also had to grapple with the possibility that, okay, well, what if God doesn't want me to get married, right?
Right.
Because we know that everybody is not promised marriage. Everybody is not promised a soulmate. So I knew that on either alternative, I had to be okay with whichever one. Like, okay, what if I never get married? What if I never have a family? What if I never, how do I find a purpose in the midst of that? And in either alternative, I knew I would have had to be happy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I looked at it.
That's deep. That's good. I'm gonna give you some. Yeah, I think too, coming to the end of like knowing, hey, this isn't right. This relationship isn't working, and it's not what I want. And just, I think the challenge for some of us. I'm not gonna speak for women. What up, Steve? Thanks for joining, Steve. Steve H in the building. I think, and look, if anyone has to go, let me know because I know it's late. We're at our 2-hour limit, but we'll stay on a little longer. You got to go in a minute, Ashley, Yvette,
Yeah, in the field.
Mona. Okay, we'll shut it down in a second. I think that some of us, y'all, we have to stop entertaining and dating people that we aren't sure is the one or that isn't the one potential. Like, I think we got to like chill. And I know that might be hard because for women, men are always propositioning. Hey, can I get your number? Can we talk? Like, men are always coming after women. And so if a woman wanted to, she could entertain a bunch of guys. It ain't even about having sex. She could just entertain and have guys, doting on her and chasing her. But I do think that sometimes we got to shut off all the options and focus on ourselves and God, and then in becoming the best version of ourselves and in becoming the best child of God we can, God will bring us something that we're now ready for. Because sometimes I think we're impatient and we're not ready, but we're going for it because we're young and man, I want to get married before I'm 30. You know, man, I want to have kids before I'm 35. You know, whatever. I want to make $1 million before I'm 40. We just going for stuff, and it's like, yeah, but is that God's plan for you? You know, is that what God wants you? Is that what God wants for you? You know, and so sometimes I think we stall our progress, not being ready. Hey, we'll let Steve give us a little comment and then we'll bounce because I know it's late. Steve, the question is, the question is, Steve, does taking space ruin a relationship? You ever been in a relationship and said to someone or someone said to you, I need space. We need to break up to figure something out. And then if it's meant to come back to you, it will. Well, sometimes it don't come back to you. But in the case of Ashanti and Nelly, it actually did come back. You know, so this is a case where it took 14, 15, however many years they were broken up. But then it circled back and it did. And now they're the happiest ever. But maybe they wouldn't have never thought that it would come back. So, Steve, we'll let you close us out with this question. Does taking space ruin or help a relationship?
You know, and I thought about a lot about that question. Dave mentioned it to me before the show started. And, you know, honestly, I gotta tell you that when you want to put somebody into your life, you know, theoretically, we want to have a person that can be able to increase, just like, you know, what we want to have in our life. We want to multiply and increase, right? But, you know, the thing with American society is that sometimes we think that one person will be the total package, right? And then you talk about the confines of a marriage. Then you also have to think about, okay, how is this person, their family, and their life decisions up to that point is going to affect us with our life and our family and our decisions, right? So, man, it's a catch-22 for me. But I definitely tell you that knowing thyself is important. You know, and I really honestly think that a lot of men, they're getting married later in life because, you know, it takes so long for us to like erase decades of, you know, negative influences to become our true selves. And then to add a spouse, to add a woman on top of that, you know, we really have to be careful on who we select as our wives, right? And so at this point, for me personally, I'm at the point where marriage is something that I strive for, but I'm not gonna literally like either measure my life as success or a failure if I'm not married, right? I have to pursue my own true purpose as a man. And as far as fitting the space, I really honestly think that it has to be more about, you know, how can she align with you and your goals? And how can you align with her and her goals, right? But, you know, if I'm out doing the things I'm doing and then my spouse is doing the complete opposite, we don't have to have everything in common, but we got to align on some things to be able to help each other become better. I'm more of a guy where I'm looking for a teammate in a woman. I'm not looking to be a traditional husband. I would really appreciate if I met a modern woman that has the same work ethic as mindset as I am, but everything's not perfect. But what I'll tell you is that in order for somebody to take that set space in your relationship, it has to be something that you can be able to not only increase his life, but you make him a better person, right? A man will go far in this world if the right woman is willing to motivate him towards something bigger than himself. And you have to be content with not always being number one in the life, right? Children come into play, that's a big thing. But, you know, if a man is trying to pursue something that is bigger than himself, then I have to have a woman around me that can not only amplify that, but also be able to like maybe change something I haven't seen before, right? So I'm telling you, man, when we get older, I'm telling you, like we get real picky, right? But at the end of the day, you know, you got to undo years of programming to become your true self. So you have to know who you are first. I cannot get into something with somebody, and I know who I am. What do I like, what I don't like? But then once you get over all the fluff and you find out who you are, then you have to meet somebody at what they are at right now. You can't love somebody based on their potential, because potential is that's energy that hasn't been fulfilled yet, right? And we all get caught up in that sometimes, but you know, you have to know yourself, and you have to meet somebody at where they are at right now in 2025.
You know
Because
what's funny,
if you call the
Steve?
pitfall, then you get lost.
You know what's funny? You have to marry someone for who they are, not for who they're gonna be,
That's
right?
You
right.
have to.
Because if they never hit the lottery, if they never make it big in crypto, you know, if they never gain weight, if they never lose weight, you got to love them for who they are. You got to love them for who they are. And the Bible says for better or worse. You know what I'm saying? That's the vows. Hey y'all, it's been 2 hours, 15 minutes. We've been going for a minute. I appreciate y'all. Anything, Ashley, Mona, Yvette, anything anybody want to say in closure before we go? Thanks for joining, Steve. I know you got here late, but thank you, man, for joining. I do appreciate it. Anything y'all want to say before we close out?
You said some good stuff.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah,
by the way,
discussion,
Steve is
good
coming from
discussion.
coming from that young man perspective of I'm still building. So I gotta build. So I need a woman that's gonna support what I'm doing, not fight what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's super important.
Steve come from there. What I was saying earlier is like that selection, because if he's focused on trying to build, so he'll
Right,
be
you did say
ready.
that.
So when the right person step in, she can enhance and then support. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was talking about earlier. Because if you get somebody who's out there trying to spend the money, that ain't gonna work. You trying to save the money, you trying to make it, they trying to spend it. That ain't gonna work. Or vice versa.
One question for Ashley. So Ashley, you're not married, right?
No.
Okay. Now I know you're a successful attorney. My thing is this: so a man meets a woman that's successful, that's got, you know, success and finances, and she really don't need him for nothing other than the support and the manhood and the leadership, but not for nothing physical or security wise. How can a man work with a successful woman? I know I have an answer, but I want to ask you from your perspective. How can a man get with a successful woman and be okay with it if, let's say, you're more successful financially than he is, you know, by nature of career and all that stuff? I mean, how can a man, or can a man, deal with that?
I think it's sure. I'm sure everything is possible. In my experience, a lot of times that's not the case. A lot of times the man will think they're okay with it, but they don't actually end up being that way, right? And it manifests in different ways. It's hard to find someone who's both not bothered by it, not emasculated by it, or have any other negative feelings or about it, and that who's also not I don't know, how do I say it, the other end of this,
Intimidated, insecure.
or just along for the ride, not willing to participate, kind of thing, you know. So it's, you have to find someone who is in the middle. But the question about how can a man contribute, like, to a woman who,
Or how can he deal with it? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe the question should be more: how can a woman, you know, work in that situation where she's the financial power dynamic? You know, how does a woman work on that, or deal with that, or adjust, or does she?
I think it depends on the woman. There's some women who are at such a high level that they are comfortable being that breadwinner, right?
Oprah.
And taking care
Oprah.
of things. Yeah, you know, some people get to a point where it's like maybe you're not going to find your, you know, your equal. And then I think it's just important for a man to find some ways to contribute, you know, like it's not all
Yeah.
about dollars and cents, you know, but maybe you can contribute. Maybe you can contribute to the business, or maybe you, you know, have some skill, or, you know, ideas, or
I think it's also, you can be a leader in the home. You can be a spiritual leader. You can be the emotional rock. You know, you can be a protector. It's not all about the money. You know,
No.
I think you can lead the household in a number of ways. But what I was getting at is, if a man isn't making the money and the woman is making more, then she may have to allow him and not let her success, you know, take away from his role as a man. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, we could go for another hour. I know people are tired. Let me let y'all go. I want to be a good host and let y'all go. Steve, thanks for joining. Ashley, thanks for joining. Mona, thanks for joining. Yvette, babe, thanks for being here. Sherrod had to rock out. I appreciate y'all, man. It's Dave Life. You've been watching Dave Life After Dark. The After Dark podcast episode number, whatever number we on, 307. Thanks, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. All right.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate y'all. Hey, man, we out of here. Peace.